To Your Eternity Season 3 explores what happens when the Knockers are given a few hundred additional years to evolve. It's hard to talk about without using names or specific details, so be warned that there will be spoilers in this review. There was a tiny recap at the start to get you situated, but unlike previous seasons where we would move to new locations and develop a relationship with a new set of people every handful of episodes, this season stays in one place and deals with the troubles of the same set of characters the whole time. I understand that the purpose of this was so that Fushi and his friends could all be together again and work through what life would look like with the possibility of peaceful years in front of them, but I think that this format was to this season's detriment.
It really slowed the show down, as we spent more time rebuilding relationships with his past encounters, but they did a great job reintroducing characters that we haven't seen in a while.
The reason why the previous seasons were so impactful was the amount of care and connection that they could instill in you with a character within such a short amount of time, and then wrench them away from you in a heartbreaking death. I remember there would be characters that I did not like when they first got introduced, and then by the time that their end would come, I found myself crying over their loss. But there were no tears this season. In fact, there were two characters that maintained their heightened level of annoyance the entire time, to the point that it diminished my enjoyment of the show. Yuki was so loud and hyper and in the way equally as much as he would facilitate or help things.
I liked the use of his position as vice president of the occult club, and how accepting he was with everything that Fushi would do.
Then Hirotoshi was so close to crossing the pedophile line with his little stepsister that I was creeped out. Luckily, he never did anything perverse, but spending that much time worrying for her safety made it harder for me to appreciate his eventual positive character arc.
This arc did end very wholesomely, with showing how one person really can make all the difference in someone else's life. And that person isn't always your parents. At times, it felt like it echoed Mizuha's progression, but with a very different outcome.
I did appreciate the slow unraveling of the connections between Mizuha, her family, the Guardians, and the Knockers, though. It was interesting that they found a way to expand on the topic of mortality even further than they already had by having the Knockers seek out human hosts that had lost their desire to live. The show has always been good at reflecting on the meaning of life and legacies and asking metaphysical questions, which is still a key component that we experienced here.
This season was also very heavy on accepting people for who they are, not just what they are.
I was also left questioning what would have happened if Fushi hadn't woken up and picked a fight with the Knockers again, because they really made it out as if they would have stayed peaceful on their own. Now that the Knockers were merging with humans while maintaining coherence, it really made it seem like they weren't such a big threat anymore. And that fact did pave the path towards the coexistence movement at the end of the show. But having it cycled that way kind of made it feel as if the fight with the Knockers and all of the mind games that Mizuha played with Fushi were less meaningful. It left me sitting there asking why he couldn't have at least attempted the peaceful solution from the start.
Fushi really was stuck in his past conflicts at the start of the season, where all bad came from the Knockers. It was surprising to see how much Mr. Black had moved on and accepted that they were peaceful, and really forced Fushi to make his own decision this season rather than just going with the flow.
While it was still enjoyable, Season 3 was not up to the same caliber as the previous seasons, and so it was only a good 7 out of 10 for me.